By the time they finish 2 years, they would be a Picasso, in their own sense. Having special needs children in a workplace is actually a blessing. And most of people who've hired them has come back to us and told us that as well. But you see them in the workplace and they still bring that innocence to that workplace. It's such a breath of fresh air.
This is the 38th episode of Dream 100 Show with Ms. Sharmila Jois Vellal. Welcome to Dream 100 Show, listener. I'm your host, Savita Hosamani. Each week, we interview today's most successful and inspiring business owners with winning teams who had the courage to chase their dreams in spite of all their challenges. Or we go on to explore one aspect of evolving business owners, cultivating their inner strengths for personal growth, which will impact business profits positively. Join us as we bring you everything that goes on in the minds of successful business owners during decision-making process and gain insights to make smarter decisions. ECA strives at creating inclusiveness in the fullest sense by making children future ready for the real world in a holistic way. ECA caters to children with special needs by working on their strengths, development patterns, and helps them to gain placement, which is very important, and become fully independent so that they evolve and contribute to their families and society. ECA handholds students during transitioning from college to workplace and helps students to adapt to their new workplaces in a non-intrusive way so that they are able to write their success stories. With an aim of helping students in mainstream and to fill the gaps in their holistic development, ECA has purposefully designed evening programs. These programs are for homeschoolers or students going to other schools or adults attending college or going out to jobs. So now let's get started and welcome Sharmila to Dream 100 Show, and let's hear it out from her right here, right now. Welcome to Dream 100 Show, Sharmila. It's truly an honor and pleasure to have you here. So how did you arrive at this name?
We kept thinking about what is the passion that we have or what is it that we want to do with ECA. And then we kept talking about inclusion. And so we kept thinking what are the words for inclusion and having one place for everyone and not discrimination and all that. And we're like, one. And then it came to us. We're like, oh, let's just stick to that. It's like Apple coming up with their name, For Apple, let's just keep our name that. So it was just like that.
But it's very, very appropriate to the kind of work that you're doing, and the spirit of the school stands for. Everything coincides very beautifully.
Thank you so much. It means a lot to us. Just as I said, at the starting stage right now. So the 2 years of pandemic killed our spirit, but now hopefully we'll regroup and restart. Let's see.
What actually inspired you to start off with ECA? Of course, the name is very beautiful, inclusion and all this, but the inspiration behind this.
Shanti and me, Shanti is my partner. So when Shanti and me decided to start a center, we were very adamant that we really wanted to find something for adolescent special needs. That's how it started. We wanted something after education and after vocation training. What next? We wanted to look into the marriage. We wanted to look into the employment. We wanted to look into them being part of the society and not just look at as a person who needs support. We want them to see as an individual with a lot of respect and dignity. Also responsibility to be a part of society. So our intention was that. So when we started ECA, it was only for adolescents, but then because of the parent request, And also we felt that there was a lot of lag between where the student were when they came to us and the age they were in. So therefore we decided to start from 6 years onwards itself. So that was one of the good decisions that we took.
Yes. So it is both an educational organization and a charitable institution, a trust kind, right? So, what brought about this combination?
So what we did was we tried reverse inclusion because we felt that our students weren't really, though we were placing them in the mainstream school, at certain point of time they could not cope with the pressures of the mainstream schools, and they eventually joined back the special needs center again. That too with a battered self-esteem and self-confidence. So we came to a point where we stopped sending special needs children to mainstream school because we knew eventually they'll come back to us, and we started defending, saying, no, we will not send them. So then we felt, but they, however, are missing out on that inclusion and being with what you call main neurotypical or mainstream children. So that's when we decided to have underprivileged children as well. So with or without disability, we started giving free education for underprivileged children, and it worked like magic because these children come with a huge capacity to protect themselves and be smart about their life and take decisions quickly and everything. So they became a very good role model for our children, and that helped a lot. So therefore the education as well as the charitable aspect of it really helped us look into the world of inclusion, true inclusion. Yeah.
So awesome. So, like, what were the challenges you faced, like, as you started setting up this organization as well as a trust, and you also started interacting with a lot of companies for placements? So, you would have faced the journey wouldn't have been smooth.
It's still not very smooth, actually. It's an ongoing difficulty. Any NGO, for that matter, the biggest difficulty they face is the finance. Because unlike the corporates, we don't charge too much money. We want to be there for the parents and provide reasonable and sustainable services for the parents. So also the educators that we hire also, they need to be paid well in order to sustain them. You don't get anyone for free, right? So services need to be paid.
Absolutely.
Finance was a very, very huge aspect. It continues to be as well. We finally, after 3 years of struggle and a lot of documentation and running around, got our ATG. So we have to start the process of looking for sponsors, but that also is not a small, because so many NGOs, corporate need to know they're putting their money in the right place. That being the biggest problem. The others is the resource allocation, because most of the time you don't get the required resources. May it be the building infrastructure where you start your center. We can't keep changing every 2 years, right? So we can't afford a bigger space. So it has to go stepwise. Okay, I can afford only a small building and then go to the little bigger one. So that constant change is a lot difficulty. There's no consistency because of the resource allocation as such. And the third main problem would be the training of the teachers and sustaining skilled teachers or skilled educators. A lot of times what happens is that you invest a lot of time in training somebody, and after a year or two they get kind of bored of it and they leave and go, and all your energy goes for a way, not waste, but then it doesn't benefit your organization. So the constant, so if at all we would provide good salary package, they would probably survive or sustain in the job. But then since that doesn't happen, these are the three major difficulty I feel any NGO would be facing.
When it comes to empowering a child with special needs, how do you go about it?
It's not just like, train them in some kind of a skill like either embroidery or block printing and, paper making or something and placing them. One is the consistency is not there because there's no sustainable income that comes to the child. And then how many of us always buy scandal or always buy a block printed clothing, like it doesn't bring them enough income. So we start looking at jobs that are sustainable and that will give them an income that is enough for their life. So for that, in order for that to happen, the students need to have certain skills, like how do you present yourself and how do you go approach someone for a job, writing resume, all that they need to be trained. So before that, we do something called as a pre-vocational or transitional course, which is a transition from being a completely dependent being to becoming independent. You can't really expect that to happen in a 3-month course or whatever. We take 2 years to get them to the vocation skills level. So the pre-vocation, we do a lot of AIL, what we call as adult independent living. So we teach them how to cook by yourself, how to clean by yourself, basic stuff. If they do something at home by themselves, then they can do something. So, and then we move on to WPR, which is workplace readiness. Workplace readiness, we teach them on what is working actually. It's not just take one thing and keep it here. What is the work? What is salary? What is, taking a leave? All these we explain it to them. How to be in a company, writing a resume, taking part in discussions. All these are done in a mock classes or mock sessions. We also get into the functional English and mathematics, where we teach them adult required keywords. When they are in special needs, they learn certain keywords on how to frame an English sentence. So when you come to adult also, it's the same thing. They need to know keywords. For example, if I go to bank, I can't say I want to open blah, blah. You have to know what you want to open: account, depositing, withdrawal, all these they need to know. So we teach them all these keywords. And then we also kind of get into helping them plan their finances. If I get a salary of 15,000 and I have to spend money for grocery and electricity bill and water bill and yet save money to go on a holiday, how do I do it? So we teach them on creating Excel sheet and, saving their money and all that. So that's how we plan. We slowly take time in helping them understand this is how you live independently. And once we feel confident that they can take up a job, they get into a vocational course.
Awesome. So from adult independent living to workplace readiness, are organizations open to taking them as interns at least for 2 to 3 months, and so that they get the hang of it and thereby they gain more confidence?
So what we do during vocation course is that where we get a job for at hand first. We know that the student, for example, child A is very good with people, then I will put him in not a corporate, but a people-oriented job. And if at all there's another child who's very non-social child, but then is very good with computers, and we put him in corporate-related job. So when we have a job at hand, we ask the job provider, what are the skills that ought to have? And then train them for 6 months in that. We give them a lot of brief on what needs to be done, give them thorough practice and everything. But once the 3 month is done, we don't just leave them in the corporate. There's a transition that happens. So we attend the workshop or a training process by that corporate along with the child, so that the child feels comfortable that if I don't understand, my teacher will explain it to me. Right? It also gives the corporate also an idea on how to talk to the child. Right? So the employee will get an idea on, okay, so I need to break it down further. If I send a mail, they will not do it. I have to tell, open your Gmail account, go to Compose, put an email ID, and then do the work. Right? So we kind of teach them on how to give instructions as well. Once they are taken in, we still continue to keep in touch with the corporate. We see how the child is placed. If they have any trouble, then we try to help counsel the parents. So unless the parent, the corporate, and the client does not come together, they will not sustain the job. So the corporate will have to keep in touch with the family. No matter how much you train a person with special needs, they will still need a little bit of guidance in terms of, okay, the reason you're finding it difficult is this. If somebody needs to be guided. So parents can do the best. And for that, the corporates have to keep in touch with the family. That works the best.
Okay, awesome. Once a child enters into this kind of workspace, what is the adaptability? Because they would have been subjected to a lot of empathetic treatment from the beginning, from their parents as well as the school as well. But this is the harsh reality, like until the teething problems, you guys are around. But once you people are out of the scene, how do they manage?
That's what the pre-work and the work is supposed to do. We kind of talk to them about, emotions as well, socializing as well. So most of the complaints we've had earlier on, or what we've heard from people who are placed in jobs, before starting ICA, we had interviewed few people. What are the difficulty you're finding in your company? And the only thing that they would mention is because they can't socialize with the other groups of people there, so they feel left out. So though you do all the process required, there is still this element of, I don't know how to go approach a person and socialize with them. So cracking joke, sarcasm, those are something they don't understand, right? So they will really read up a joke and come and tell you straightforward, and you'll be like wondering why are you saying it completely out of context. So that's when it becomes very important for us to teach them on how to handle their emotions. If you're feeling bad, what will you do? Will you just keep it to yourself, or will you go and tell your colleague or your superior? So we train them in this. Also, during the whole process, we call in a lot of guest speakers as well, who will tell you how it needs to be, and they will speak to them. So at least monthly once, we have people from different sectors, not just corporate. They come and tell what they expect when they hire an employee, so they hear that out. We also have voluntary program, so people can volunteer at ACA. So we buddy them up with one of our students, and they talk to them about regular stuff. Needn't be just the corporate or the work, but then movies, Netflix. These are something that they miss out on because they don't get to socialize. So we buddy them up with some volunteers, so that their relationship, long lasting relationship, and this person, if they can't reach out to us or the manager, they have a buddy to fall back on.
I think that's awesome. I think everyone needs a buddy.
Yeah, totally, I agree. I think that's what, like, with these people, what happens is that we go in a structured manner and you think of, okay, what else can I provide? And then you think, what, when I need this?
So how different is ECA as compared to other special needs schools? So what's so unique about ECA?
Well, I wouldn't want to compare our ACA to anybody else, because every NGO is different. Every NGO has started with a passion and a vision, and they are unique by themselves. But I will tell you what's unique about us is that we have started with the intention of providing the experience and the exposure that every special needs child deserves to get. That includes schooling as well. So our whole program is placed as a schooling model. So they come at 9:30, they have an assembly, then they have curriculars and co-curriculars as well. So they have music, dance, Zumba, yoga, gardening. They do everything, cooking, everything they do in the school, along with the academics as well. This is the place where we are not focused on one particular disability. We have specific learning disability, autism, we have visual impaired student, we have child with speech impairment, we have children with cerebral palsy as well. We have mixed group. So therefore, what happens, you look at your own strength and when you look at other person's weakness, right? So the child who has cerebral palsy will feel, okay, I can explain things better to a child who has learning disability, and they kind of bond with that. They realize that they've got their own strength, and socializing that happens at ACA is just amazing. It's like a big family. One of our students actually said that ACA is my family. And he's like, whenever he has a fight with his mother, he'll say, I'll go to ACA. So, so it's about creating that experience for them. It's not just a session or a class or a school. It's creating a home environment where you are constantly learning and evolving as well. Across age, across disability, everyone gets to mingle with one another. There is no disparity and there is no wall between anyone, and that's the, I think, uniqueness. And we see every child for the strength they have rather than, of what they are unable to, or bracket them into any kind of disability. So when a parent comes and asks us, what disability did you cater to? We just tell them we cater to children.
To put it in one word, you make them life ready.
See, what happens is that when you enter a center or any kind of curriculum, we also, no matter how much we didn't like our schools, we enjoyed those small experiences. Though we hated the sports day or the Independence Day practice, but we remember those the most because they got us all together. And that's what we also do at ACA, where we have a lot of events and competitions where the students take part. So their skills are showcased, so we do a lot of art. Children at ACA loves doing art. So even if the child enters with no fine motor capacity, By the time they finish 2 years, they would be a Picasso, in their own sense. Like, if at all we don't have, like, this month is the only month we don't have any events. We take a rest because there is a lot of exams coming up and everything. And the kids go, oh, there is no events. Can't I dress up for something? Can't I prepare myself for something? They go like that. So yeah, it's the experiences that Eka brings in.
So then afterwards they do take up exams, is it?
Yeah, so we provide academic level. So that is by the NIOS. NIOS is the same, it comes under the umbrella of CBSE. It's a National Institute of Open Schooling. So we provide 10th and 12th coaching for these children. So from 6 years onwards, we kind of have worked downwards. So if at all a child at 12th grade is supposed to expected to write this much, then how do I bring it from a 6-year-old onwards? So we work backwards. And we also, for the younger lot, what happens is that we take up the relevant topics. We don't teach them about old topics and, try to make them feel, acha, hua tha, or it has happened. We don't get into that. We want them to be future ready. So we take up pollution, we take up poverty, we take up rescue the street dogs. Those kind of topics are taken, and we work as a theme. So if the empathy is a theme for the whole month, then English revolves around that, mathematics revolves around that, your art also is about that. So it's theme-based learning that happens. So by the end of the year, when you have the exams, we kind of see if at all they learn the core value of that theme rather than the topic that was learned as such.
Mm-hmm. What I understand here is they are very strong in values, but once they see the corruption outside, how will they react?
So they have been perplexed about it, but we do talk about all that because we want them to be prepared. For example, politics is something that we don't talk with children with special needs because it doesn't make sense. But we felt the other way around, that they are the future of our world and they need to know what's happening. So when they start the assembly, so start the day with an assembly, we read newspapers so that they are aware of what's happening. And we also had a school elections so that they know how we select our prime minister. So they know their own right on, okay, I know I have to choose a leader who will lead me in a right way. So if you just explain it, they won't understand. So they had the process where they selected their leader and the leader has been lethargic. And they come and tell me, he's not helping you. I'm like, you selected him. I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it. They then realize, oh, I shouldn't have gone to my friend. I should have chosen a leader that would support me. So that's the way the learning experience happens. So yeah.
Experiential learning.
Experiential. We completely believe instead of telling them what's happening, it's better they are exposed to it and they learn. And it does miracles because they really sit and argue with us, and they will say, for a while they'll listen, but then they'll be like, but wait, you said something else last time. So it's good to see in that innocent view of the world, how they see the world as so black and white, and wish all adults were looking at it that way.
What has been the best compliment you guys have received from parents or from kids also? Like once they go back to that world and then they see Eka, what are their reactions?
So one is every day is a happy day, and every day is a fantastic feedback that we get from a child. So we treasure every moment. So as I said, one student said that Eka is a family. So he will fight it out with his mom and he say, you know what, I don't need you and you have my teachers. It goes like that. And we tell him, no, you got to respect your elders. You can't talk. If you can't respect them, you don't respect me. And all that happens and he'll be like, yeah, but then you respect me more. So there has been a lot of instances that's very heartwarming and that makes us want more, crave more of those moments. I think most that we relish a lot is the relationship that we've established with each of these parents' family. It's not just the mother or the father, it's the family. So we've had, as I said, we have co-curriculars and we have Zumba to name it, all the co-curriculars, we have it. And it's the more than the eagerness of the students, it's the eagerness of the parents and the family members. It's amazing because we have grandparents also participating in Zumba and saying, "Oh, this keeps me fit, so I want to participate." so, so there has been many such instances where it has just given us a reason to continue forward.
Awesome. So if candidates are from other schools,
Yeah.
and because they would have learnt a certain way from that particular school, and once they come here, do you help them in getting placement, or you guys train them again?
We would look at their skill level they are at. If at all, we don't really require that much of skill because if they are aware of things around, like what is the job and simple thing as how do I go to my office. If they have a clarity such as those, as we place them directly, but otherwise we would usually pursue parents to take up the PV, that's a pre-vocation course. We feel more confident because they're exposed to a lot of nuances and etiquettes through that course. And we want consistency. We want them to sustain the job that they have applied for. It shouldn't be like they go join for 3 months and the employee is finding it difficult and we won't know the child ourselves and we won't know how to support them, right? So therefore, we encourage 2-year PV, but if at all the parents are not for it and which field the child is suitable to be placed in a job, we go ahead and place them in a job.
Awesome. Have you thought about the student exchange program? Because we see that abroad, children with special needs have more opportunities and they have more wider exposure. So if these kids also have a chance to go there and they also have a chance
we actually, when we started the ACA in the first year, we had collaborated with a couple of international institutes as well for this purpose. And they were like, okay, you just started, so finish at least 2 or 3 years and then we will look into it. But we have thought of it, but we've done it online. Like we've had a lot of exchange of not really students, but the teachers, giving us a view of what happens or what they do. So we had 2 international events where the students with special needs from, I think it was UK, they had mingled with our students online and they would tell their experiences. So we've had the sharing of experiences and all that, but we will probably do that in the future where we get to send our students, because traveling is something that special needs children hardly get to do. The parents feel so worried and they feel so they can't be independent and everything. So we definitely have that in the pipeline. And as against to facilities in the abroad and facilities here, probably our facility wise, we might be lacking in terms of the other countries. But in terms of job placement, I think we are equal to none. Like everybody is in the same place right now because most of the corporates have opened up here, not just the corporates, across the sectors, maybe small scale or the large scale. People want people with disability to be a part of the employees in the firm because they see value in it, because they bring emotions, they bring consistency. Because when you're working with a special needs child, you will know if you tell a instruction once, that followed through. No matter what happens, that instruction will be followed. Until unless you tell you cannot do that instruction because there's this, follow this instruction, then they follow that. But otherwise, whatever is being told to them, they follow to the T without missing it. Having special needs children in the workplace is actually a blessing. And most of people who've hired them has come back to us and told us that as well.
Wow. So there is no attrition rate at all.
No, because what happens is that, as I said, when you're teaching a special needs, you feel a reason that you're working towards. It's you see a wholesomeness of it. But you see them in the workplace and they still bring that innocence to that workplace. It's such a breath of fresh air. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who are the few persons who have inspired you as a person?
Oh, there are quite a few actually. But most importantly, I think there are 3 people who I would really like to mention. One is my guide, my mentor. I've always mentioned her. Jayashree Rajanahalli. I think she supported me so much and she still continues to support many other special educators. Very selfless person, and the humbleness with which they work, it's just outstanding. If I'm 1% of her also, I'll be very thankful. And Gayatri ma'am, because Gayatri ma'am runs Brindavan Education Trust. She was the one who put this seed in my head that I too can run a center. And because she had said that, I started working towards it, and therefore it's there. And lastly, but not the not though last most important person is be Shanti Karamchetty. She's my partner, and the kind of vision that she brings into play, and then I only tell her this is what I want to do, and she makes it happen. The ability to, it's easy to vision, it's easy to have an idea of I want to do it, but how to reach the journey and the steps that you take, it needs to be very practical, it needs to be very systematized. And if you set the process in the beginning, you can mimic it, and that's what Shanti brings. And quite an inspiration, actually.
What has been your greatest learning throughout this journey?
Oh my God, that's a very difficult question. But then I think expect the unexpected. I never start my day with saying, okay, I'm going to do this, because it always the other way around, and move with the child. We do a lot of planning. We do something called as individualized education plan. Unlike the other schools which do lesson planning and curriculum planning, we have to do it for each child separately. So we do that because we have to have a goal. We can't just be fluid. But then life takes its own course, and then you have the child with its own intention in mind. So unless you are thinking like a child and allow them to breathe once in a while and say, you know what, it's okay, we'll not do the class today. So that I've learned a lot from my students, actually, and I'll still continue to learn as well. I hope to contain their sense that they have, and then the freedom in thought. They are not constrained by anything. So when we were teaching them, this is a very, very sensitive topic to talk about. But if you look at it in the sense, in the eyes of the special needs, all are alike. So we couldn't really help them, make them understand what is the religion. They were like, but then they have 2 hands and 2 legs. So what if they pray different gods? So those kind of innocence I wish we all contain. Yeah.
Awesome. So what's the best and the worst advice that you have received so far?
In terms of best advice would be when the parents pushed us to start the 6 years onwards course. I think if at all we had stuck to only adolescent, we wouldn't be able to have so much of good memories that we're having right now. So that's one of the things. And also, I really was very jittery about starting cooking and housekeeping at ECA because I wasn't sure about the safety aspect. That's something that is very important to us. But the teachers gave me confidence, saying that they will learn about the safety. We have to teach them anyways. And now when ECA was running physically, we used to enter with the smell of upma or smell of gajar ka halwa because the kids would be cooking. I miss those, so I'm looking forward to those. So that's something I'm looking forward to. When it comes to worst, I don't think when you have good intention in play, everybody is kind to you, So I don't think there was any worse advice as such. There was no negative intentions as well. Even if it doesn't really, bother us much. We usually look at the brighter side of the things and move ahead. So yeah, don't think I have any.
Okay. Yeah. Any lowest point?
For me or for the ECA?
Okay,
ECA
both.
Well, it's part and parcel of life, right? To have the ups and the lows and everything. So for ECA, I think it was the 2 years of online. We cherished it tremendously. We never let go of our events. We recently had our annual day online, and the Tamil actor, Mr. Shyam, had come to watch, and even he was stunned by the performances of our students. So though we cherished it tremendously, I think having it online and not having the kids, when the kids had come to my place to study for the 10th exam that's coming up, they said, one of the students are crying, and I said, what happened? And he said, I missed this. I miss the chill time that we had. And then he was having his lunch really fast. I was like, slow down and have. He's like, no, I miss the chill time. I don't want to be sitting and wasting my time eating. So I want to sit and talk nonsense. So miss those. I think that has been the lowest point. I miss all the experience that we missed out on. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, so what is your vision for Eka in the coming years?
So we wanted to have Eka as a one-point place for all special needs children. You have from early intervention to until they're settled in their life. We want it to be a well-planned organization. So right now we are able to take 6 years onwards, not below. Working for the lower age group is also our intention, but the high priority is we want to bring in higher education for children with special needs. They finish their 12th and then they have to struggle in the mainstream again. So we're trying to now join hands with multiple colleges in Bangalore. They can do 2 subjects and we could probably take 1 subject or probably get into curriculum modification, but provide an opportunity for these children to complete their graduate or even postgraduate for that matter. So that's something we are working on. Probably next year we will be able to provide a graduation course for children with disability. We also want to get into a lot of research and projects as well. That's something we are collaborating. We are doing a lot of collaborations because we feel as alone, you will not be able to do much. You can impact probably 50 lives, but if you want to impact the whole population, you need to rope in a lot more people. And Enhance has been very generous that way. They've agreed to help us out in terms of research. They agreed to help us out in terms of providing any kind of support in projects and everything. So we are also going to be looking into helping their rehabilitation center as well. So a lot of collaboration with big universities like Jyotinivas, Christ, and Manipal universities as well. So hoping that works out. Let's see.
Wow, that's really brilliant. Before we end this conversation, if people want to get in touch with you, how do they get in touch?
Everyone can check out the website www.ekainclusion.com. Or else email us at ekainclusion@gmail.com. We are available. You can even check out all our social media. We are very, very active on social media. Our children love it that they have been in Instagram or Facebook or anything. So because of that, they're also creating their own account now.
Wow.
Do have a look at it and let us know, give us your feedback. Sure. And if anybody is willing to do any kind of donations, help us out with any kind of project, placement of children, if you're willing to employ, do connect with us at ekainclusion@gmail.com.
Awesome. This is a beautiful word in this big word.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks for the appreciation.
No, I really loved it. Very nice initiative.
Yeah, thank you. No, and it's, as I said, it's like the children make it happen. They tell us what they want to be. Like one of our students has said that he wants to be an IAS officer. So we're trying to see how we can work it out, or if not an IAS officer, what we can do that he's close to it at least. So that gives us more reason to learn more and get to know more. So. And the children also feel like somebody's listening to my voice. So if at all we can't help him accomplish that goal, then he at least know why we couldn't do it. So we don't want any child to feel as I can just dream, it can't happen. We want to see it happen. We want to, and everyone in the world, at least whomever we've approached, have been very sensitive, very pro. If I say, can you come and talk to my child about this? They say, yeah, sure, why not? And nobody said no to anything, So we've been very blessed that we've been interacting with amazing people with amazing, nothing but pure intentions in their heart. So it's all, I think, accolades goes to everyone who's been part of the Eka students, Eka teachers mainly. I can't thank them enough. We keep giving them last minute stuff and they keep taking it up without saying no to it. If Eka teachers were not as creative and ready to go, and we have unity in diversity there because none of them are Bangalorean. They all are from different parts of the states. So we keep saying we have the true India here.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time as well as for these wonderful insights. I'm sure anybody who listens to this will have their heart wanting to come and visit this place.
Oh, we would truly love that if that happens. Thank you so much. It's been amazing talking to you as well. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to showcase my small little world to you, and making the world see that there should not be anything that stops you. If you have a vision or an idea for yourself, please go ahead, because you don't know whom you will impact. And every impact that you create on people's life is as important. So, just don't hold back on your dreams. Don't hold back on others' dreams. And it's only the dreaming that has led us to actually seeing ACA happen. So, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for providing this opportunity. It was fun, and it was very enjoyable sharing all the fun moments with you.
Thank you.
I thank Sharmila from the bottom of my heart for this beautiful, interesting, and engaging insights which we had during this conversation. Here are my few takeaways. My first learning: when every contribution is valued equally, true inclusion happens. The second learning: workplace readiness is very important for workplace success in the long run. My third learning is that transitioning from being dependent to being independent is real empowerment. Fourth learning: skills and strength analysis of individuals for a job role will define sustainability. Fifth learning: creating learning experiences improves performance on the job. My sixth learning, which really touched my heart: in the eyes of special needs children, everyone is alike. What a true learning. Thank you so much. Never lose out on an opportunity to learn about cultivating your inner strengths on Dream 100 Show. We strongly believe that life is just a play. We win some, we lose some, we miss some, and we mess with some. So enjoy your journey and play to the fullest. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Dream 100 Show. And now, make a smart decision of taking the next step towards building your trust and your dreams. Don't forget to subscribe to Dream 100 Show and leave a review on Apple Podcast. Share your biggest takeaways with us and follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. For more details, shoot an email to us. This is Savita signing off, and catch you soon in our next episode.